Welcome. All right, this is episode number 29 of Mindset of Steel. We're going to be starting in 3 minutes. Thank you for joining. All right. Dr. Katie Nall coming up next. Yep. Hello. Thank you for joining. Say hello in the comments. Notifications going out. Tapping. What is tapping? All right. Here comes my jam. Yep. All right, we're going to get started in a minute. Just settle down here. It's going to be a good one. Yes. Is that suspenseful enough? We'll talk about waffles too. Waffles? Let's see. All right, see you on the other side. 1 minute left. Hello, I'm Fernando Sosa, and you're watching Mindset of Steel live show. In this show, we encourage you to crush your limiting beliefs, punch fear in the face, and take massive action in your business and your personal life by focusing on the 80% psychology and 20% strategies. I'm very excited to be here tonight. This is episode number 29 of our weekly live show, and we have a special guest coming up in a few moments. And so if you're joining us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Click on the notification icon while you're there so you can be notified when we go live. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review and let me know how how you're liking the show. This also is available on Spotify and other podcasting platforms, so you can listen to us on the go. Don't forget to check out the website as well, mindsetofsteel.com. And there you can join the community, join our free community. And we post some content there. I'm putting together some material for the next couple of weeks. We are having an event coming up, and we have some things that I'm going to be posting inside the private Facebook group. So go to mindsetofsteel.com and you can join there. And we also, right now, we've been doing the 52 book challenge, which is a weekly. We basically have a goal of reading a book every week for the next year. And we're on book number 10, and that happens on Mondays. So you can check it out. Just go to mindsetofsteel.com. You can look at the book challenge, and just to stay up to date and be part of the community. So tonight we're gonna have our guest, Dr. Katie Nall, and we're gonna be focusing today on the mind-body connection, and something very interesting that I learned about a few years ago that I never really learned, never really took it to the next step, and just life went on, and all of a sudden I see that my guest is actually an expert in that area. So I'm very excited for that, and we're gonna learn more about it when she joins us in a moment here. There's something that I was researching about, and it has to do with acupuncture. And I've done acupuncture not too long ago. I think now last year was a wash. Nothing happened last year, but the year before I actually tried acupuncture, and I never really got into it, but I was trying to understand it. And nothing, it was okay because I was doing chiropractor, acupuncture, a lot of other things. But now I'm bringing that up now because as I'm researching more about today's topic, I learned a little bit that it's somewhat related with acupuncture. We're going to learn more about it, but it has to do with the meridian system, which is a Chinese map, basically, of the body that the Chinese did many thousands of years ago. And so we're going to see, instead of using needles, using something else. And we're going to see what, and it's something that you can do, from the comfort of your home. So we'll learn more about that. And that's where the tapping comes into play. So let me go ahead and introduce my speaker. So her name is Katie Nall. Now, Katie Nall is a Florida mathematician. She's a TEDx speaker and a professional member of National Speakers Association, and an Advanced Certified Practitioner in Emotional Freedom Technique, also known as EFT or tapping. Dr. Nall enjoys showing others how to dissolve WAFFLES. They're waffles. That's worries, anxiety, fear, frustration, lethargy, exhaustion, and stress. Nobody has stress, right? Of course they do. So she's joining us live from Vero Beach, Florida. And let's go ahead and welcome Dr. Nall. Hi, Dr. Nall.
Hey, Fernando. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Good. How are you?
Fabulous. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Now, I'm very excited, like I said, because this thing about tapping that you're going to share with us. I'm very curious about it, and learning how you came about that, and how you're helping other people with this. So Dr. Nall, give me a little intro. Before you tell me a little bit about yourself, I saw your TEDx talk and it was awesome. I encourage everybody to watch it. It was so good because one of the things that I liked about it was very informative. First of all, like typical TED Talks, but you made it entertaining and funny and informative, and I enjoyed watching it, and it was very good. So congratulations on that. So tell me, Dr. Nall, tell me a little bit about yourself. What is it that you do? What are you our doctor in? And take it from there.
Who the heck am I anyway? So currently, Fernando, I work at a college. I'm the campus director of a college that 90% of our students graduate with no debt, which not many colleges can say. I am the campus director, so I oversee the campuses and our different sites. In my spare time, I get to do fun things like this and also do the tapping. I got started in it when a few years ago, as a student, I went back to school to get my Ph.D. in math education. My undergraduate degrees are in mathematics and computer science, like you, and my master's is in computer science and statistics. So I wanted to go back, and what I wanted to do really, Fernando, is I really wanted to help those students who were in my office and said, I have one class left to take. I'm like, great, let's get you signed up and let's get going. And they say, I don't want to take it. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is it? And they'd say math. And I'm like, oh, you saved the best for last. And they said, no. And they would burst into tears. I'm like, look, there's nothing scary about math. Let's figure this out. So I tried a whole bunch of different techniques. And this was the year 2010. Nick Ortner and his sister, which is probably where you heard of tapping before, he's pretty popular, was doing his annual tapping summit. And I was able to watch all 10 days. And in watching all 10 days, I was like, this looks pretty interesting. So I bought the book, I bought the DVD, I taught myself how to do it. And I had a long line of students coming in saying, I don't want to take math. I'm like, okay, let's just try this, see what happens, right? So we tried it. And what happened is a lot of the students were able to pass their math. And I don't know who was more surprised, Fernando, me or them. So what I did from there is I thought, I really don't know what I'm doing. So I probably should get training. So I went and I got training in level 1, level 2, level 3, trauma, and quantum. That's a whole nother subject. And now I'm a master trainer. So now I'm able to train others. And as it turns out, I didn't know what I was doing. And tapping, just like anything else, can be very, very helpful. But it can, if you don't know what you're doing, it could be potentially not really harmful, but it could bring up bad memories. So
I see. And Nick, yeah, I think I saw him.
Ortner. Yeah.
I think I saw him in something with Marie Folio. I think I saw him before.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
And so tell me, so you used it with your students, and they improved their math skills or their math aptitude or something. What do you call it? Aptitude or?
They passed the class.
Efficiency. They passed the class. Now, how does the student? How are they open? How were they open to try this, which is not like an academic thing to do to improve their scores, their class?
You're right, Fernando. Trying to find people that are open to it. But as it turned out, if you have one class left to take and it's a class you've been avoiding the entire academic career, turns out many of them were desperate. And as you know, desperate clients are the best because they will do anything. What do I have to do to make this right? And they would go along with it. Now, you're right. Not every student would be open to it. And it was kind of sad because the ones that I could see that weren't open to it, they kept failing again and again. And I was like, why don't you try this? It's not that big a deal.
So let's see. Can you explain to us what does it consist of? What is tapping? What does that consist of?
So the basic recipe is basically we tap on different parts of our body, on the side of the hand, top of the head, edge of the eyebrow right above your nose, side of the eye, under the nose, under the lips, cross your arms on the collarbone, and about 4 inches under your arm. That's the places that you tap. But the power, Fernando, and this is the part that's going to surprise you. I'm telling you, my husband was so upset when I tried him out as a guinea pig. And I said, I want you to come sit right here, honey. And I want you to tell me all your negative feelings. And he kind of side-eyed me and he's like, okay, all these years you've been telling me to be positive, and now you want me to tell you my negative feelings? I said, yeah, that positive stuff didn't work on you. So we're going to try this other stuff. He was not really sure about it. And most people, we've been taught, power of positive thinking, right? My understanding of it is we can't put in positive stuff if we have all this negative stuff that we are harboring. People say things, we interpret things, somebody pulls out in front of you and it just irritates you. And you have those negative emotions that are being housed in your body. And so what this is doing is it's releasing it and opening up the energy pathways that are running through our systems. And you correctly called them the meridians. It's based on traditional Chinese medicine, which believes that there's at least 12 main meridians that are flowing through our body. And of those 12 main meridians, if you get a blockage in them, then things don't work right. And so what this does is it removes the blockage. Would you like to try it?
I see. Well, yeah, I've seen some. I would like to try.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions. You ready?
Okay.
In the last 24 to 48 hours, can you tell me something that you ran into that frustrated you or caused you any waffles? Now, here's the interesting thing. You don't have to tell me what it is. You can just say that incident.
Okay. That incident.
Okay, that's fine. Now, when you think about that incident, what emotion comes up? Worry, anxiety, fear, frustration, lethargy, exhaustion, stress, or something else?
Frustration.
Frustration. Okay. Now, from the top of your body to the bottom of your toes, where do you feel that frustration in your body?
My chest.
In your chest. Okay. And from 0 to 10, where 0 is like, no big deal, I'll figure it out, and 10 is the most frustrated you've ever felt in your life, what number would you assign it?
Right now or when it was happening?
No, right now.
Right now, 7.
Okay. And so everything that I ask you to repeat has got to be true for you. So my next question is, if I say something and ask you to repeat something, Fernando, and you go, you know what, Katie, not really true, or I wouldn't say it that way, would you repeat it in a phrasing that is right for you?
Okay.
And the last thing is this a true statement? Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Do I repeat that?
No, I'm just asking you, is that true?
Is it true? Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do first, Fernando, is tap on the points together without words. And I just want you to think about that incident and the frustration in your chest while we're tapping, okay? Okay, so you start on the side of your hand, and you can use either hand, it doesn't matter. The side of the hand, and you tap right there. And you just breathe a little bit and think about that incident and all the frustration it gives you in your chest. And just breathe a little bit. And then we're going to move to the top of the head, right on the crown of the head. And you can use one hand or the other hand, or you can do the monkey move and do both. It doesn't matter. And then the edge of the eyebrow, right above the eyebrow, right there you go. Yeah, a little bit lower, right on the edge of the eyebrow. And think about that incident and all the frustration it gives you in your chest. Oh, gosh. And then on the side of your eye, between your eye and your hairline, oh, that frustration, oh my goodness. And then under your eye, Fernando, that's where I keep all my bags, so I'm ready to go at any given moment. Then under your nose, under your lips, right above your chin. And then I want you to cross your hands at your wrist and tap right on your collarbones. Oh, that feels so good, doesn't it? Woo! And then the next spot is going to be under our arms, and you can use one hand or the other or both, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. So you can just give it a hearty pat there, or a hearty pat there, and you can give yourself a hug, or you can even do this. It doesn't matter. So those are the points that we're going to tap, and then we're going to add the words to it. Now, I just want you to stop for a minute, and I want you to think about that incident and the frustration you feel in your chest. How's it feel now?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of self-conscious, just thinking and looking at everything that's going on with my molars. I'm not that focused on how does it feel. I'm not sure. I feel different.
That's fine. Well, then let's add a component. When you think about the frustration in your chest, what color is it?
Red.
Okay, great. So now we're going to add words. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. So on the side of your hand, we're going to tap and say, even though.
Even though.
When I think about that incident.
When I think about that incident.
I have so much frustration in my chest.
I have so much frustration in my chest.
And it's red.
And it's red.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyway.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyway.
And we're going to repeat versions of that 2 more times. Even though.
Even though.
I have this red frustration in my chest.
I have this red frustration in my chest.
Thinking about that incident.
Thinking about that incident.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyway.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyway.
And then the 3rd time, even though.
Even though.
My chest is full of red frustration.
My chest is full of red frustration.
Just thinking about that incident now.
Just thinking about that incident now.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyway.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyway.
And then top of your head. This frustration in my chest.
This frustration in my chest.
And the edge of your eyebrow. This red frustration in my chest.
This red frustration in my chest.
Side of the eye. This red frustration in my chest.
This red frustration in my chest.
Under the eye. This red frustration in my chest.
This red frustration in my chest.
Under the nose. I have this red frustration in my chest.
I have this red frustration in my chest.
Under the lips. Just thinking about it gives me that red frustration in my chest.
Just thinking about it gives me that red frustration in my chest.
And then on your collarbone, this red frustration in my chest.
This red frustration in my chest.
And then under your arm, this red frustration in my chest.
This red frustration in my chest.
Let's go around one more time. There's still some red frustration in my chest.
There's still some red frustration in my chest.
I can feel the frustration in my chest.
I can feel the red frustration in my chest.
It's starting to change.
It's starting to change.
But it's still there.
But it's still there.
I still have that red frustration in my chest.
I still have that red frustration in my chest.
Just a little bit of red frustration.
Just a little bit of red frustration.
That red frustration in my chest.
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 Now I'm going to ask you to blow all your air out like a cartoon character. I'm going to show you what it looks like.
Okay.
So how does that feel?
I feel like something all around me happened. I can still feel myself tapping myself. I feel like the points where I touched myself. Centered, I guess. I don't know. That's what I feel.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And that frustration from 0 to 10, where is it now?
Maybe a notch or two down below. Yeah, lower. I think so.
So
Yeah.
what you do, Fernando, is you keep doing this, and as you get it down to 0, what will happen is the frustration actually melts away, and that particular aspect of that incident does not return. The research has shown that when they compare tapping to conventional cognitive behavior therapy, talk therapy, and EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization reprogramming, that EMDR and EFT are more effective than talk therapy. But EMDR, you have to be in front of a therapist in case you have an abreaction. EFT, you can learn to do it yourself. Now, why would you do that? Dr. Hans Seeley said over 100 years ago that there are 3 triggers for stress: uncertainty, lack of information, and loss of control. I don't know about you, Fernando, but today I'm feeling all 3 of those. And most everybody else is, which is why so many people are feeling stressed and out, just out of their element, and they're pulling in front of you in traffic and being short-tempered and rude. And so the more people that we can get tapping to help them release those feelings, the better it is. And I really love what you're talking about, the 80% mindset and 20% strategy. This is a great way to, and of course, as a mathematician, I love it, but it's a great way to pull everything together to get 100%, because the strategy is the tapping, and it actually does change your mindset.
That's awesome. Thank you. And does this help from your experience? If this helps like people with trauma, like PTSD, like we had on last week's episode, it was about PTSD. And I'm just thinking about this. Have you found that this tapping technique helps people with PTSD?
So the originator, his name is Gary Craig. He was an electrical engineer from Stanford University. And he took this technique to the Veterans Hospital, where Vietnam vets had been there for 40 years, drugged and hospitalized. He worked with them. All of them had PTSD. He worked with them for about a week. And after about a week, they were fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What about people with special needs? Or kids?
Yeah. Okay. So I have 5 granddaughters, and I was able to see the youngest one a couple weeks ago. She is about 8 months old, and she was not happy, Fernando. Have you ever been around a baby that is so mad they don't even cry? All they do is scream. And she was that way. She needed to just take her nap, and there would be nothing to do with it. And I asked, is it okay if I tap on her? Well, I didn't even get all the way through the rounds. And by the time I got about halfway through, she fell right asleep. So yeah, you can use it on infants. And you can use it for all kinds of things. I was walking on the beach with my husband the other day, and who knew that they have bees in the sand? I stepped on a bee, and my foot was hurting so badly. And we were about a mile away from the lifeguard station, and also from our car. So I had to hobble along, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, I tapped on myself, and the pain reduced tremendously. We were in a serious car accident about 4 years ago. My husband lost consciousness. I was still conscious. After I got out of the car to check to see what the heck was going on, and I wanted to do something for him. I didn't know what to do while we were waiting for EMT, and I thought, tap on him. So I was able to tap on him while he was, unconscious, to help him kind of come back. So yeah, you can use it for all kinds of things.
Wow, this amazing tool to have in your toolbox. Definitely going to try this again by myself. Do you find that this works best when you're like by yourself in a room, or can you do this in public, or how, does it, the level of concentration that you need, does that affect the outcome?
So you will find me driving around Vero Beach when the guy pulls out in front of me, like, oh my God, I cannot believe they just did that. I cannot believe. Now, when I work with students, because I work with students all over the world to help them with math and test anxiety, and they may not want to do this in the middle of a test. But what they can do, there's another version there's lots of different components of it. And when I teach the introductory class, it's 8 hours of learning different types of tapping. What we just went through was a very, very basic recipe. There's a lot more pieces to it. But an easy thing to do is if you have your hand out in front of you with your palm facing you, and you squeeze the edges of your fingernails and squeeze those, and you can do those in your lap. Nobody will even notice it. And it will relieve some of the stress and frustration. So like if you're in a Zoom call and you're like, I've had it, you can just be sitting here and just be pinching on your edges of your fingers. So there's also another spot between your ring finger and your little finger, right on the knuckle, right between that knuckle. You can tap on that. And that's part of a whole nother piece of the tapping called the 9 gamut.
Interesting. So this can help anyone with anxiety, with fears, overcoming fears, phobias, that sort of thing?
So I've had clients who've been worried about tests, and I've helped them. I've had clients who've had anxiety. I had a client who lived in Colorado. And I have to preface this, Fernando, I've gotten permission from every one of my clients to share any stories. If I didn't get permission, I wouldn't share their stories. But I had a client who lived in Colorado who had a lot of anxiety because of all the shootings there. Of course, there's another one just recently. And to the point where she wouldn't go anywhere on her own, and the tapping helped her. Fears, I had a retired Air Force colonel who had a fear of spiders, and I worked with him. A frustration, oh my gosh. I work with a lot of people with focus, trying to get focus, and they're frustrated by that. Lethargy, the bell curve of stress is all based on, oops, there goes my camera, sorry. It responds to the L. So let me get it back. But the lethargy and exhaustion, which happens when we get overwhelmed because we have too much stress. And when we get so much stress that we cannot move forward, that's when the lethargy and exhaustion comes in. And I've been able to help those. And of course, there's plain old stress.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Okay. So if I want to learn more, and somebody who's watching or listening wants to get in touch with you and get more in depth into tapping, how can they reach out to you or learn more?
So my email is hello@drnall.com. That's HELLO@DRNALL.com. And I'm going to challenge your listeners, Fernando, because I give this out a lot and nobody calls me. So I'm going to give you my phone number, which is area code 772-226-0167. Again, that number is 772-226-0167. My webpage is my name, Nall, followed by the word edge, company, knowledge company. Yeah, there you go, knowledgecompany.com. And under events, you can find out about how we use this for prosperity and abundance. We have a crazy, active, and fun mastermind going on using tapping.
That's awesome. So you have something coming up soon. If somebody wants to look into it.
Yeah, I actually have the training, the 8-hour training coming up, and that's going to be on Thursday and Friday, April 15th and 16th. And it's 2 hours in the morning, 2-hour break, 2 hours in the afternoon, 2 hours in the morning, 2-hour break, and 2 hours in the afternoon. Because 8 hours in front of Zoom is enough to cause stress in and of itself.
Yeah. All right. So that's awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Nall, for sharing. And I'm definitely gonna look into this more. I'm very, this, like I said, I learned about this a few years ago, but I never got into it. And why not? This is another tool in the toolbox, and I'm open-minded, and a lot of things that I didn't think would help has helped me. And we have a lot of brain power here to help us in many different ways. And this is going to be another one. So thank you again for joining us. If you're watching, get in touch with Dr. Nall. Post any comments if you want to put any comments here. And again, if you're listening to us on podcasts, leave us a review and just reach out to us. And Dr. Nall as well, connect with her on her social media as well. Just go to her website and you'll see links there for everything. She has a great TEDx talk. Check that one out. So that's all for tonight. Thank you very much. Dr. Nall, you want to leave everybody with something positive to end the show?
Sure. I just want to let everybody know that you don't have to be a victim of WAFFLES, that this is something you can control. And our society doesn't tell us that. But this is something you can easily control. You can do it by yourself, or you can work with a practitioner like me or one of my many friends that I have.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody. Bye, Dr. Nall.